The steps of a good man are ordered of the Lord. It's not just one foot in front of the other. Steps are designed for escalation. That it's designed to take you up to another level. You're designed to live on another level. And so God is actually bringing us up. He didn't just bring you out of sin. God is bringing you up in Him. There ought to be a goal that lifts you up to another level. You shouldn't be on the same level next year. You ought to start growing up, maturing up, and becoming more than what you were before. You shouldn't be on the same level. What person wants to start in an organization and you in the mailroom at an entry-level position, and 20 years down the road, you still in an entry-level position? You ought to be promoted. You ought to be stepping up, being trusted with more responsibility, given more money. You ought to be growing. You ought to be developing. You ought to be emerging. You ought to be out of just coming up, but coming out. And where you start is not where you should end. That's not what destiny is about. You ought to have a destination that lifts you to a higher level. If you were with this one, when you get in another relationship, don't hang around the same kind of trash. You ought to step up on another level. You ought to get somebody that has different appetites, a different attitude, a different perspective, a different grace, a different mercy. When God brings you out and His mercy is made new to you, confess up, and then get up, and then pray up, and then fight up. Because whenever you're on your way up, it's always a fight. It's always a fight. It's always a fight. You see, when God gets ready to transition your life from one stage or one place to another, He'll begin to make you dissatisfied where you are. That is a critical sign that I'm transitioning you. That what used to fulfill you and bring you joy is no longer fulfilling you and bringing you joy. You got to focus on God and follow Him, because God is a moving thing. And as your gifts develop, as your strengths develop, as your creativity develops, as your leadership develops, God is going to open up another door. I don't know who I'm talking to prophetically in this place, but if you realize that that's you, you ought to slip one hand up and say, I receive it in the name of Jesus. I receive it, because God will, your gifts will take you to a place. They'll take you to a place. They'll bring you before great people and influential people. They will open some doors, and God is saying, I got to get this person out of where they are and match them with an environment that matches the gift that have been developed in their life. Are you listening? If you ever get to a place where you get developed, God will release you. He will deploy you. He's not going to deploy somebody who's not developed. He's going to develop you and then deploy you. And the reason that you know that I am developed is because God will deploy you and thrust you into a situation that you may not feel prepared for, but it is the greatest developing of your skills that you'll ever find in your life, because God has seen something, because you got to focus on Him and you follow Him. Focus and you follow. I declare to you that if you ever focus on God, He'll never leave you where you are. He will never leave you where you are. God will lead you on a journey, and it's going to be an upward journey. He's taking you the steps of a good man, order of the Lord, Psalm 37:23, and it's going to take you higher and higher and higher. You're not going to be on the same level. God's trying to take you up. He's trying to take you up. He's trying to take you up. He's trying to get you to develop and take Him up. Focus and follow. Focus and follow. Focus and follow. It didn't say focus and settle. Focus and follow. Focus and follow. Abraham, get up and go to a place where I will show you. Moses, get up and go down to Egypt. Joseph, get up and go. There's a blessing in the going. Focus and follow. Focus and follow. God is a moving thing, and He's leading you somewhere beyond your wildest imagination, and it's going to develop you. It's going to grow you up. It's going to engage every creative and innovative and leadership skill and ability that is in your life. You're going to be introduced to some problems, and God's going to stir up some stuff that you didn't even know you could do. I'm just telling you, He will blow your mind. Stuff that you couldn't see in you, God saw it in you, and He knows I cannot activate that in you until you are exposed to this problem. You won't even let the creative juices, you won't even start praying on a different level until you're introduced to the problem. Your problem will introduce to you to your destiny. Focus and follow. Focus and follow. It's not what it looks like. It's not what it looks like.